This is Old Line Farmer Radio, a Maryland Farm Bureau production, helping you achieve your best farm future.
Hello and welcome to Old Line Farmer Radio. My name is Jeb Burchick, Communications Director at Maryland Farm Bureau, and I'm your host this week. It's currently July 17th, and the prices for corn are slightly up this week in Maryland, with an estimated average price at $4.45 per bushel, and the estimated average price of soybeans is $9.67 per bushel, and that's down from last week. Let's check out a couple of headlines. The state of Maryland is kicking off Maryland Buy Local Week, which takes place July 17th to the 27th. The Maryland Department of Agriculture's marketing branch, Maryland's Best, is encouraging Marylanders to take the Buy Local Challenge by incorporating at least one locally grown product into their meals each day. You can learn more about this initiative by visiting marylandsbest.maryland.gov. U.S. Senator from Maryland Angela Alsobrooks introduced the Bipartisan Agricultural Risk Review Act. This bill would add the Secretary of Agriculture onto an interagency committee tasked with reviewing foreign investment in America for its national security implications. Maryland Farm Bureau has policy stating that foreign investment in American agriculture should be monitored closely by our partners in government. We appreciate the Senator for her attention to this important issue and for the introduction of this bipartisan common sense legislation. The USDA has once again halted cattle imports from Mexico because of an outbreak of New World screwworm in the country. These invasive fly larvae are known to nest in the wounds of warm-blooded animals and could cause catastrophic damage to livestock herds. The USDA is continuing to monitor outbreaks and has launched a plan to fight this invasive pest. No cases have been identified in the USA as of yet. Since 1987, American Farm Bureau's campaign school has helped farmers and supporters of agriculture get elected by teaching them the tools of the trade. We speak with American Farm Bureau's Mike Sistak on why farmers should get involved in the electoral process.
I'm Ethan Schofield here on Old Line Farmer Radio, and today I have Mike Sistak with me from AFBF. He was just here at Maryland Farm Bureau teaching AFBF's campaign school to us. Mike, maybe you just want to give a little introduction, tell us a little bit about what campaign school is all about.
Yeah, so AFBF, we've been teaching this school since 1987. It's a bipartisan program that we formed with the help of both national parties, local political consultants, veteran state legislators, and the whole purpose of it was to give AFBF members access to information about running for political office. Because our members are very busy in their daily lives, running their farms. They don't have time probably to sit there and study the minutia of running a campaign. So we put together this 2-day program where it's like, okay, give us 2 days, a day and a half of your time. We're gonna teach you the nuts and bolts of how to run an effective campaign.
Right, so now we know what the school's all about, but why should our Maryland farmers and producers become involved in the electoral process?
Well, one, farmers in America are the second most trusted profession in the United States. The most trusted profession is nurses, and that's okay. We'll cede that ground. We love what our nurses do for us and for our families, but second most trusted profession. And so we are in a point now where the majority of Congress, the majority of state legislative bodies are dominated by people who don't have an ag background. That used to be way different. Go back to the founding of the country. Most people in elected office came from an agriculture background because that's how they supported themselves. Obviously, technology has allowed us to move beyond that, but you have decisions being made about how agriculture is done in this country by people who don't have that background. And not all of them need to have that background, but you should have some people in the room who say, yeah, I am a farmer. I come from agriculture. I come from a rural county in Maryland, and these are the things that we are facing. Here are the solutions. They need to be that voice. And so Farm Bureau members, they're always good about showing up to the U.S. Capitol, showing up at their state capitol to be advocates. But sometimes you need to go that extra step and you need to be the person on the other side of the table who gets to make those decisions and cast that vote for a state budget that's going to impact what happens on your farm.
So you're saying, it's no longer enough for us to just show up and show out and make phone calls to, our elected officials and our representatives and, hope that they listen and support our voice. Now we have to be there alongside them, making those decisions for our neighbors.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's so important to show up. And again, Farm Bureau members are good at that. But sometimes that's not enough because there are party demands. I don't want to be too partisan here, but the parties want you to vote a certain way, even if it's against the interests of the people you represent. And so farmers have to be there to support the communities that they represent and put partisan politics aside and say, I am doing this because this is what's good for my community.
Right, and I know I learned a lot in the past 2 days, a lot about the electoral process in general and how to run an effective campaign and be a strong candidate.
Yeah, and he also won his mock election that we had him do. I'll just throw that out there. So he learned.
Not only a learner and a student today, but I'm also a winner.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have anything to share, from this week's sessions or maybe some recent ones? Some funny stories or, do you see any light bulb moments that anybody might have had?
Oh, definitely. Just from this past week, watching, when everybody comes in on the first morning, everybody kind of has that like deer in the headlights look because maybe you've run for office before, maybe you haven't, maybe you're thinking about it, maybe you're just trying to learn a little bit more. And, yes, politics and a political campaign can be intimidating. But it's like when you get into the material, and especially the way we teach it and the way we are breaking it down, people start to lose some of that fear that they have about politics and campaigns, and they start to go, I can do this. And one of your colleagues, she when we started, she had no inclination about wanting to run for office, Kara. And then one of the things that we asked all of you to do was to do a mock media interview, because it's one thing to be interviewed as a member of Farm Bureau talking about your farm. It's a completely different beast to be interviewed as a candidate for political office. And her interview, my gosh, she just knocked it out of the park. And I'm like, are you actually thinking of running for something? Maybe. I'm like, you should consider it. Just because you could just see what she learned in just that short period of time. This is a 2-day program, and how she immediately applied it to, here's how you run an effective campaign. Here's how you effectively communicate with voters. And I've seen that happen so many times. I've taught this school. Well, I've lost count. I first started teaching this school in 2019. I've taught it, to members all over the country in many different states, and you kind of have those aha moments, and then it's kind of like, you get it now. Maybe you should actually consider running for office.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm assuming that happens a lot. A lot of people probably come to the school, realize, that they have a voice that they want to share. So do you mind, telling us maybe what the success rate of this program is, or individuals who have gone through the training?
Yeah, so going back to 1987, we have had just thousands of people who have attended this program. And they're running for everything from, school board to county council, city council, state legislature, Congress, statewide offices. It runs the gamut. We've taught everybody except for somebody running for president of the United States. Maybe I'll get one in 2028, but until then, I'm pretty satisfied with who we've had through so far. But throughout all that time, back to 1987, our success rate is 82% of the people who have come through the program and actually gone and run for office. 82% of them have gone on to win their elections. I don't know any other program that can claim that, so we can pat ourselves on the back, but you follow our advice and you are going to set yourself up in a pretty good way to win your election. You know, the school has been taught here with Maryland Farm Bureau before, and you know, probably the best example I could give you is that a Maryland Farm Bureau member, you probably know his name, Stuart Pittman, came through this school, I want to say 4 years ago. I believe he'd never run for elected office before, but he got elected to the Anne Arundel County Executive. So he is now in that position, and he was just recently appointed chairman of the Maryland Democratic Party. And I'm not, you know, playing any favorites here on partisan politics and people's party preferences. That's not what we teach. We don't teach you to be a good Republican or a good Democrat. We teach you to run a good campaign. Like I said, it's nonpartisan, but you have now got a Maryland Farm Bureau member in a very influential position as a county executive and as his county, or as the statewide Democratic Party chairman. I mean, that is so powerful for Maryland Farm Bureau and for farmers here in this state, that you have now got one of your own in such influential positions. And you really never know where it's going to start. You know, someone wants to run for local office and then where their political career goes.
So Maryland farmers and producers and their neighbors should come through the school, learn something new, and make a run.
Absolutely, they should. You know, I understand they probably have a lot going on in their lives, but if they see a problem going on in whatever is happening in their government, and whether that's their county government, their state government, the federal government, something that they see needs to be fixed and they want to do something about it, I just ask, come give us a day and a half of your time. It'll be intense, don't get me wrong. Everybody walked out of there today tired. I'm tired, all right? And I've been doing this a long time. But give us a day and a half of your time to learn about this. And I promise you, you'll walk out feeling more confident that, you know, yeah, I could do it. And maybe it's not, you know, right away. Maybe it's in 4 years, and that's okay too. We've had plenty of candidates who come through and they go, you know, listen, I want to do this, but you know, my kids are young right now. I need to be home with them, but in a few years, they're not going to want to be around mom and dad. So that's my time, you know, that's my time to run, and that's okay. Plant that seed early and just show people you can do this, all right? Because running for office is not an IQ test. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've taught this program where someone goes, man, how did that idiot ever get elected to office? It's like, well, this is not an IQ test, all right? It's about people who show up and run an effective campaign and talk about the issues that are actually impacting their community and what they can do about it. So it can be done. Anybody can run for office just so long as you've got the passion to do so.
It's awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. I was happy to be here.
It's fair to say that, you know, running for office is a little bit like planting a seed. You know, you plant the seed, it'll grow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're planting it early, you know, yeah, maybe sometimes you have to wait a while for that seed to actually grow, but you plant the seed early and, you know, the results can just build upon themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was happy to be here.
If you're interested in supporting the local farmers and food producers in your community, consider becoming a member of Maryland Farm Bureau by visiting members.mdfarmbureau.com. Your membership goes to the advocacy of the industry and fighting to ensure that it has a future in our state. We thank you for your support. With that, please give us a rating and review, and if you learned something today, please share this podcast with your friends. Old Line Farmer Radio is a production of Maryland Farm Bureau, produced by Jeb Burchick, contributions this week from Ethan Schofield, introduction by Hollis Zimmerman. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time on Old Line Farmer Radio.